Good after morning. Welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham D, and I am joined by Milo, just out of shot down here. Hey, how you doing, Milo? Oh, Bibby's here as well. All right, I'll read, Bib.
Hi, Graham.
I'll read. Yeah, I may, I have to jump up and attend to. I have a pup asleep on the desk in front of me, but he keeps trying to put his head on the keyboard. He's got a full cushion and he's got a blanket, but the keyboard clearly looks more comfy, so he's trying to stick his face on that. So I may have to deal with that as and when it happens. But that's a mighty fine studio you've got there, Bib.
It is a mighty fine studio that I have here, Graham. Yes, it's wonderful. I had to put the aircon on today because it was a bit sweaty. I came in earlier, maybe about an hour ago, and turned all the TVs on the monitor, so it was literally just ready to go as and when we needed to be. And then obviously that makes the room extremely sweaty. So the aircon is now on and it's filling the room nicely. It's a nice little gentle breeze running through my ungelled hair.
Bib, if you had to use any word to describe that breeze, what word would you use?
Stupendous.
Stupendous.
You got to build the tension, Graham.
That breathe is stupendous. For anyone that doesn't know what we're on about, you'll never know. It's only the best clip ever, apart from the other good clips. But still, anyway, welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham. I'm joining Bibby in the studio. I didn't realize he was in the screen. Yeah, but I'm with him in the studio. I'm on an additional screen, just mounted on the wall to his right hand side. Job's good. Anyway, welcome into twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads for this, the Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We go live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. ish.
4 hours later than build, but it's fine.
It's 2. He's close to 10 on a clock, kind of, I suppose, if you just jump across the top. Anyway, so yeah, we go live at 10 a.m. ish each and every single weekday, bringing you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on those stories, but we want to hear your thoughts and impressions, and then your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's how this whole show works. So please do feel free to get involved. And it's important that you do, because this live stream is turned into a podcast. We do go live on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads each and every single weekday at 10 a.m. As I've already told you. But we also turn the live stream into a YouTube video and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. So there is lots of places where over 130,000 people have watched and listened to this podcast on demand. So please do feel free to get involved over the next hour or so to get involved on behalf of them. Nice. Before we jump into the news, I want to remind you that you can win yourself a prize just by being a subscriber. Type !loot drop if you want to get involved. Figure out how, as a subscriber, you could bag yourself a prize every month. Well, one person will. As well as that, I also want someone to type !spam, because it's never been done before. So just type !spam.
New
audio. See if it works. Nice. So for anyone that doesn't know what it is, then get out. Just leave. If you don't know what spam is, just leave. There is nothing more to say. Spam never reached out to us, but you know what? It's fine. We don't do it for the recognition. We do it because spam's fucking amazing. It's amazing. Nice. If anyone wants to clip that, do feel free, by the way. We can send it to spam on social media and get them involved. Get them in. We want the part of the team. Yeah. That was a great idea, whoever suggested that, says Tito. Yeah, it's not bad. It'll do. Good shout. Although I had to actually get creative with it, because the song is like 30 seconds long, and it all builds up to one crescendo. So there's no like lovely spam, the wonderful spam, or whatever it says. And because after that's finished, there's someone behind it going spam, and it's like you can't cut it properly. And then so you get one of them, and then another one starts off to something that builds up to a big thing. Then you get spam at the end kind of thing. And I'm thinking, I mean, I kind of want all that, but I don't want to play the full 30-second thing every single time. So I just wanted to cut the beginning bit off. So I actually cut the beginning bit and then have the start of the second verse, whatever you want to call it. But then halfway through, that merges back into the first verse again, so that it can keep looping. So it actually plays through three times ish. One of the third time it fades out, but it's science. Yeah, we've got like the first half of the first one and the first half of the second one that just keep looping together. Yeah. So there you go. Was a good idea. Idea. Nice. Idea though, Tido. That's what I meant to say, not Idido. It was a good idea though, Tido. So, Tido. So, yeah, it was a good idea. I'll let you have that one. The Triggermeister is in the chat. Exclamation mark Lotus. Tears Bad's here. Nice. Exclamation mark Tido. Oh, no, Lotus was in the chat. He got banned. Oh. Sorry, Lotus, you're out here. Tito's banned him just because, Tito is used to being the only one that's been able to whop out his implement in front of the chat, but now Lotus is here doing it as well. Tito's got a little bit of sword envy. Ooh. JMK, good mornish. Welcome in, dude. Tito says, got full fiber being installed, 1 meter long hole being drilled in my wall. Being a basement, a very distinct possibility. I might be living in a swimming pool soon. I'm not scared. Honest. Nice.
Or an avalanche.
Yeah. Oh shit. Well, we start. Maybe it just becomes a very big basement that starts underground and just ends up 3 floors up. This is all mine now. Yeah. Good luck with that. If not, it'll be like, welcome to Twitch. My name is Tito. Nice swimming pool. Let's go. But yeah, if you don't know what this whole show is, if you've never been here before, the gist of it is we will go through, as I mentioned, the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. And we have 4 stories today. The last few days we've had 5, 6, 7-ish stories. We've had to roll some, so we might actually just get through all of the news today. You never know. So the first story that we'll be talking about is it's from Bungie. So if you missed it, Bungie was acquired by Sony a couple of months ago, and then there's been a big conversation. I don't know if I'm fully equipped or Bibby's fully equipped either to handle this whole conversation, but we'll have a try at it. But if not, you guys do feel free to jump in the chat. As this one says, Bungie says there will never be a muzzle big enough to stop us from standing up for what's right. And that comes... Oh, there's still builders in, by the way, so you may hear noises in the background, as like just then. So that... The tagline then says, following a report, Sony won't authorize studio statements on reproductive rights. That is from Matt Wales at Eurogamer. So kicking off with a conversation where Sony and Bungie may be at loggerheads over reproductive rights. That's where we'll kick things off. Then we'll jump into Arma 4 Precursor, Arma Reforger has released in early access for PC and Xbox. We spoke about this the other day. I've actually been watching TSM Break play this morning. It looks pretty good. So excited to talk about that one. As well as that, if you want to play some Pokemon games, someone is making a tool so you can create your own Pokemon games. Nice.
Looking at you, Ravi and Show.
Yeah, exactly. And as well as that, new Xbox Game Pass titles for console, PC, and cloud include Skate and Sniper Elite 5, plus others. So we'll have all of that stuff coming for you over the course of the next hour or so. But for now, babe.
Yes. So I'm just trying to get comfortable here, Graham. I don't know if you know this, but I'm quite a tall geezer, and my legs need a little bit more room to be able to extend. So I'm just trying to get a little bit more comfortable up here, Graham.
I always find it weird, like for someone that's tall with long legs, like why are your chairs so low? Are you putting your feet on the floor under the desk?
That's what I am doing now, yeah. So usually when I'm sat here next to you, I'm folded up like a wallet, but I've got room to kind of spread out here now. So yeah, my legs are touching the floor.
Because
the thing is, because if I put my chair all the way up, it's a complete mismatch. Like if you look at the thumbnails and when me and you both here, I have it right the way down to the bottom because I am then the same size as you. We're quite level, but obviously when I'm sat, if me and you are sat next to each other and I have my chair all the way up to the top, my legs, my kneecaps would be touching the top of the top of the table. So yes, my legs are on the floor on this desk.
Harry Redknapp's absolutely loving this combination. Big man, little man up front.
Exactly, yeah. Good lad.
He's good lad. Triffy left foot, but he's not my place, so I'm not going to talk about him, yeah? All right. Yeah, he's a good lad. Okay, enough for Harry Redknapp. Let's jump into the first news article. So this one, as mentioned, we will try to do our best around talking about this. We feel it's important to talk about stories that are important to be spoken about. I know that kind of makes obvious sense, but we aren't necessarily equipped for all of them, so we will try do our best. You guys in the chat, please do feel free to chip in with anything as we go, though. I haven't read through the article, so it might be straightforward, it might not be, but we'll go. Matt Wales at Eurogamer says, Bungie says there will never be a muzzle big enough to stop us from standing up for what's right. End that quote, and the tagline says, following report, Sony won't authorise studio statements on reproductive rights. So the article says, following recent reports that Sony is refusing to approve any statements from PlayStation Studios relating to reproductive rights, Bungie, whose acquisition by Sony was announced in February, has said there will never be a muzzle big enough to stop us from standing up for what's right. Bungie was one of the first studios to speak out in support of Roe versus Wade, a key judgment which legalized abortion across the US. Following recent reports, the US Supreme Court was trying to overturn the ruling. At the time, the developer called the move a direct attack on human rights, adding that standing up for... There's a lot of quotes in these, by the way, so rather than saying quote unquote, quote unquote, I'll just keep going. If you want to read, if you want to pick out where the quotes are, you can do that within the articles. So at the time, the developer called the move a direct attack on human rights, adding that standing up for reproductive choice and liberty is not a difficult decision to make, and Bungie remains dedicated to upholding these values. However, in light of reports that Sony is refusing to authorize any public statements its PlayStation Studios might want to make around the issue of reproductive rights, some Bungie fans have questioned whether the developer will still be able to express its opinion so freely once its acquisition by Sony is complete. Responding to one such tweet, Bungie senior community manager DMG04 wrote, quote, I've just said, there you go, I've added the quotes in, and I said I wasn't going to do it, but I admit I'm just a CM in the grand scheme, but I'm confident in the following. We are, and we will continue to be Bungie. There will never be a muzzle big enough to stop us from standing up for what's right. It'll need to be proven over time, Damage04 added, but I'm assuming that's Damage04, but that's what I'm going to go with now. But we continue to strengthen our pillars and culture year over year. There's so much more work to be done, but I feel we're on the right track with the talent we have and the passion they bring. Not just making games, but improving industry. Bungie CEO Pete Parsons then chimed in to support Damage04's sentiment, retweeting the thread and adding his own affirmative stamp with a simple yes. News that Sony was refusing to approve statements from any of its PlayStation studios relating to reproductive rights was first reported by the Washington Post, citing an email Insomniac head Ted Price had sent to employees explaining why the studio was unable to make a public statement in support of Roe vs. Wade, as both Bungie and Psychonauts 2 developer Double Fine had done previously, despite staff requests. Price even added he believed there would be material repercussions if the studio went against Sony's wishes. Price also addressed a question from an Insomniac employee asking whether Sony's acquisition of the studio was now impacting its values. Quote, as far as our freedom of speech goes, he wrote, while we do have a lot of autonomy that often gets taken for granted, there are times where we need to acknowledge we're part of a larger organisation. For the most part, our ability to tweet has been unfettered. However, there are rare times when we're in opposition, like this week, and Sony Interactive Entertainment will have the final say. Prior to the Washington Post's report, PlayStation boss Jim Ryan had attracted considerable criticism when, after referencing the US Supreme Court's proposal to overturn Roe versus Wade in an all-staff email, employees were told, quote, we owe it to each other and to PlayStation's millions of users to respect differences of opinion among everyone in our internal and external communities, end quote. Ryan reportedly then went on to write at length about his cat's birthdays, leading some employees to accuse PlayStation boss of being disrespectful and trivializing the issue of reproductive rights in messages seen by Bloomberg. Wow! Okay, not a fan of many things in there. So the issue here is that Bungie has been purchased by PlayStation. That's not the issue. The issue is that Bungie, like a lot of studios, will chime in with I'll change those words. Will add their support for messages that they feel need supporting. Chime in sounds quite negative, and it's not necessarily negative to say that you are pro Black Lives Matter or anything like that. That's not negative at all. So I didn't want to go with chime in for that because it adds a negative spin to it. However, Bungie now won't necessarily have the autonomy there to go out and be able to choose. Do you know what? We feel like we support reproductive rights. We feel like we support whatever. PlayStation can now shut down any of those moves. I mean, it's a bigger company. It's all part of the parcel, but should they expect that? What are your thoughts, babe?
I'm going to fire this one straight back over to you, Graham, because I'm still unsure about whether or not I mean, I love the fact that brands get behind things. It doesn't matter what it is. If they believe that they have a strong stance and they believe that their employees share the same vision or the same opinion or the same mindset, that they are willing to put their reputation on the line by backing whatever statement it is that they feel appropriate. I'm an advocate for free speech to a certain degree. I believe that whatever you say, you kind of need to say it with your chest. There can't really be much middle ground unless it is just generally in jest. Unless it's obviously spilling hate speech and things like that, then that's obviously kind of goes without saying you're a proper arsehole, and free speech has just been taken for granted there. But when it comes to stuff like this, there will be employees there that will be either pro-life or pro-choice. And I feel like most people who might be there might be pro-life. And then you kind of alienating those employees as well. So I always think it's a sticky situation when brands go out with a particular message, because there will be people there that don't share the same opinion. Now that's fair. But if you're working for a company that has a completely different stance and you're not willing to change your mind on something because you believe that it's the right thing, where do you sit within that company then? Because fair enough, Bungie are saying that they don't believe that they're ever going to be wearing a muzzle and they can say whatever it is that they want. Whereas in the same article, they're saying that they will have restrictions when it comes to certain things because Sony will have the final say, obviously because they own them now. But
I mean that technically that was two separate things. So it was Bungie saying they wouldn't have a muzzle, and then it was Insomniac that was saying that they were now having to default to Sony in the end because they're owned by them. So, but that same
Bungie
thing
will follow suit.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
what's the repercussions if Bungie don't? What are they going to do? Sell them?
Well,
So Bungie will be like, all right, you might be able to get all the money then. We'll just go back to how we was before. I don't think it's any loss to them. They would have just been bought out and had a load of money in the bank. They don't have to give the money back. So eventually they'll end up following suit, as most employees will end up doing anyway. So I don't know. I always think it's a bit of a grey. As I said, I am an advocate for free speech to a certain extent when it comes to things like hate speech and stuff like that. I believe you can say whatever you want, but if you say something controversial or you end up saying something that is obviously going to offend someone on a racial level or anything like that, then you probably will get a punch in the face, and that's probably something that will end up coming back to haunt you. But yeah, it's a difficult situation when I always feel like brands end up essentially doubling down on something. They believe something so much that they end up backing that horse. But I believe it will alienate some people who end up working there as well, which you obviously don't want, because it becomes a hostile environment then, because you're kind of outing the people who are there for having an opinion. There will be people out there, well, there is people out there, there's millions of them that are pro-gun, whereas a lot of people are anti-gun. But what can you say to convince someone to not have a gun anymore? You can't really. They've got the right to bear arms. So it's one of those. It will be the argument until the end of time. Unfortunately, not everyone. It's in our DNA not to agree with everything that somebody says, and you're free to have your own opinion. Which again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But there always will be civil unrest between two types of people. That's just the way the world works. I just think it's wild when brands kind of double down on this.
The thing is,
without
like,
kind of thinking
for me,
about
it's
it.
like, where's the line? Like, why would it be a problem to support reproductive rights one way or the other, but then there is no similar level of choice on race in that sort of sense, in terms of a brand should it be expected to lean one way on race, but then has the freedom on the other way, kind of thing. Like, I don't know if I'm phrasing that right. But what I'm trying to say is like if a brand comes out and says we support Black Lives Matter, then you're like, okay, that makes absolute sense. But then if a brand comes out and says we are pro-life or pro-choice, it's like, well, you shouldn't be having a conversation on that one. And it's like, well, where can they have a conversation and where can't they? and that's
Yeah.
that's the difficult bit there, because like it's like, I mean, obviously we'll have our own personal opinions, and should brands be saying things like this? I can't. My gut reaction is that brands should never not be saying things. Not that they should be saying things, but they should never not be saying things. I feel like if a brand doesn't say something, it doesn't say something. If a brand is stopped from saying something, I don't know. I still have opinions
Yeah.
to form on this.
You always want people. You only agree with the opinion if it's the one that you share yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the difference with this, because you'll be like, yes, I align with them because they are supporting Black Lives Matter. That's my standpoint. That's where I come from. But then if I was a pro-choice rather than a pro-life, and then they end up saying something that I don't agree with, then they shouldn't be saying that in the first place. But I just, as a rule, when it comes to brands and things like that, it's cool to have your own voice and stuff, but I just don't like politics being put in any kind of marketing message, especially from a brand anyway. Not just because I might disagree with it, but because it puts a lot of people in a very awkward situation, especially if you end up working there.
The thing is, though, is it politics? Like, because this is actual life, actual lives that are being affected. So it's arguably more than politics, which is where it all comes back full circle. Then is like, there's lives being affected either way in this. I mean, you'll probably pick up which way I will won't go from the way I don't want to overtly say which way I lean in this conversation. I'd rather people have their own things and not just go, well, that's what Graham says, so I'll go with that one. You probably pick it up anyway from the way that I speak. But there's lives at stake both ways. If you just forget a lot of the conversation, then you've got the life of an unborn child and the life of an actual person, kind of thing. Two separate lives that are both being impacted on.
But again, it does come down to politics, though, because that's exactly what's going on in America at the moment.
But it's life. So I mean, I know it is politics in America, but the fact that this is being discussed by people in political situations when it's they're deciding what is right for someone else's life.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying in terms of. Yeah, is it pro-choice or is it pro-life kind of thing? It's that for me. I'm going to start to put the pin in this because I keep wanting to say, do you know what, I'm pro-choice. It should be up to the person's choice. They should be able to make their own mind up. There you go. You can tell which way I'm leaning now. However, I'm a bloke that's never going to carry a child or anything like that. So who am I to say?
Yeah. That's it. That's all it comes down to. But unfortunately, the people who are making decisions are blokes as well. And when it starts to become up to the government what you end up doing with your body, that's when there's a massive grey area. And I believe I believe that people should have to have the right to protest and things like that, which is obviously, it's just a massive thing that's going on in America as well, which is obviously why all of these big companies are getting involved in it. It will be in the news for as long as it's a situation over there. Obviously that situation doesn't arrive over here, but it's a shitty situation, which is obviously why I always have the thought that brands should never really get involved with it. I understand the sentiment. I understand that they want to be situated alongside and have companions and allies in battle. But when it comes down to it, I believe brands shouldn't really have any kind of political motivation in this. And again, I'm using the word political in there because that's just what's going through government and going through senates and going through states at the moment. It has been politicalized over there. So it's a shit situation for people to be in, and it's unfortunate the people who it will be affecting. I'm
still not sure. I feel like video games want to connect with their audiences more than ever, and they're expected to. And audiences are expected to connect with their video games, and the way that you'd expect video games to stand up for any form of wrongdoing in the workplaces and stuff. And if Bungie, let's just say, was hugely pro-choice, And I think because I'm not fully au fait with pro-choice and pro-life in terms of terms and how it relates to this case. I assume pro-choice is if you're in favour of having the ability to choose an abortion, and pro-life is if you're not. And let's just say Bungie as an organisation is massively pro-choice, heavily pro-choice, and their employees are potentially being impacted by this, and they want their workplace to stand up for it. If they are heavily swayed towards that, then shouldn't a workplace be encouraged to stand up for its employees? And if their employees, as in this situation, have requested that the workplace make a message, and the workplace seniors go, do you know what? This aligns with our workforce's views, which also aligns with our management level views. It might not align with our customers' views, but is it wrong for them to make a statement at that point?
I think so, because if your workplace is split 51% to 49, that's just below 50% of your workplace that will be alienated.
Yeah, but I didn't say that though. That's changing. Say if the workplace was massively swayed towards it, what's wrong?
Okay.
Why can't they say that then?
Well, even if 10% are alienated, it's still 10% of your employees.
So you would put the other 90% out then in favour of that 10%?
Oh, I just won't make the message.
But if
there's no need for a company to do that.
If your workplace, who could have an impact on your life by standing out and supporting you at what's potentially a critical time, here, I mean, this, what was it called? The Supreme Court is trying to overturn a ruling which will impact every single one of those employees, either for or against them. And you feel like you speaking about your situation to your employers to get them to spread the message of your situation. Is it not bad for a workplace to support its workforce?
I don't think it is, but I don't think you need to openly. Like, I've just had a conversation with you about what's currently going on in my family beforehand. I don't need any of that publicising, but my sister still tends to do that. Like, it's alienated me and my own family because someone's choosing to say something that I don't think should be said on social media.
See, I think that's a different situation, though. That's something about your specific family, not something that affects a people. Which I agree with your sentiment. You keep your shit private. But this is affecting people's private shit. So it's the other way around in that sort of sense.
Of course it is. Yeah, I mean, we are rolling the dice there when it comes to devil's advocate. I absolutely understand that. Again, this is my own opinion when it comes to brands and stuff like that. I'm all for them being able to get behind something, but I always think there's other people that may end up becoming not scapegoats, but the way I see it is, if there's 100 people working in your company and 10 of those people don't agree with what the company's just said, will those 10 people at a personal and professional level within that workplace, and the people who have supported them, their customer base, will they feel like they can no longer support their working environment, and then they end up either leaving, the performance drops, so they don't end up getting that income, not the people who work there, but from the customers there. Again, I'm always down for free speech and things like that, and coming down to a personal level, you can kind of say whatever it is that you want, but expect some consequences if you do. But in terms of brands getting themselves out there and aligning with one side, I always think that's a bit of a grey area, and I'm not against it. I just think it's always a bit. Oh, I probably wouldn't have done that, even if I absolutely agree with what it is that they are backing, whichever horse in the race they're backing. If I agree with it, I still think it's a little bit risky. But yeah, again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, see, I'm still not there in terms of, like, I get you. There's 10% of people out, but by actively choosing to not engage with it, you are making a decision. It's like saying I'm not going to comment. No comment. Well, no comment is a political choice, and yet it may be based in profitability. In this case, PlayStation go, we don't want to rock the boat, and that's where that's coming from. But that's still based from the end users in a political choice. So that 10% has caused you to act in a way that could quite significantly have effects on the other 90%. Yeah, not all of them will have children that they can't or wouldn't choose to raise. For example, it could medical situations, financial situations, or whatever. But that's members of your staff then that are having that. Whereas the other 10% could be dudes that just like, actually, do you know what? I'm not a big fan of that. And it's like, okay, well, you're 10%, and it doesn't even affect you. So
Yeah.
so it's
I mean,
difficult.
even the people who's in the 10%, something heinous could have happened to any of their family members, and they had their choice taken away from them. But it's it's a very difficult situation to walk down. It's one of those things that you kind of have to.
No, it is because what I want to say is I think they should just be able to say what they want, because what they want to say is what I agree with. And that's where the problem is. I think you should be able to be like, okay, do you know what, you should have the choice. Who are we to say what you should or shouldn't do? To an extent, obviously.
How many companies have been taken down because of bad takes? Because a lot more people have disagreed with what they've said, and then ended up going under and things like that. I agree that
that's a whole different kettle of fish, though. Bad takes versus the right takes is obviously, and that my point is right is debatable. That's what I was getting to then. Is for me, there's bad takes, and then these subjectively right takes. Obviously, a bad take is a subjectively right take, but there's a difference in the fact that some people will just go, no, this is it. This is we're going to die on this hill, and it's like, okay, well, there you go. Use a shovel.
That's what I mean. That's why I always say free speech. You can say whatever you want, but it does have consequences. But it like I say, it's a very difficult thing to talk about, especially when I'm not up to date with the absolute political things that's going on in the world and what people are disagreeing on. Again, when it comes down to video games and companies like this, especially for a company that you are owned by, it's nice to see that they're saying, well, I can say whatever I want. You're not going to muzzle me. That's fantastic. But I do think sometimes it's going to come back and bite you on the ass.
No, it won't, because they'll be muzzled, mate. No one's getting bitten by anything. No, I do feel like that's just a bit of gesturing and posturing. Is that as even though it comes from a good place, I don't feel like that's. Insomniac have actively said, and I got the quote out. So Ted Price, who is Insomniac's head, said that they will have material repercussions if the studio went against Sony's wishes. So material, you kind of feel like, okay, well, that's got to be financial, probably. Maybe some people get sacked, which is obviously a financial a repercussion. AKA, do this and you will be fined and or sacked. So they understand that they have to toe the line to an extent. So as much as you're saying, do you know what, we won't be silenced, we have a muzzle. That might be easy enough for people to say as a soundbite, or people that are in the spotlight, or people that are at a certain level of financial stability. But the gist of business is that not everyone can just go, do you know what, fuck it, we don't need the job. Most people are in jobs because they need the jobs, not because they value purely the principles of a business. So I applaud the sentiment there. There will never be a muzzle big enough to stop us from standing up for what's right. I love that sentiment.
Until it does.
But in a business context, it's just not that clear cut. Business, that is all black and white. You cannot silence me on what I believe in. Yeah, but I can take your house away, and I can take your mortgage, and that car that you like, you won't be able to afford that anymore. And the food and the trainers and the clothing and the iPhones and stuff that your kids need, you're not going to be able to get those either. And then all of a sudden, that might be able to silence you. So I applaud the efforts of the comments by Bungie there. But yeah, we'll see. We will see. Okay, jumping back through the comments. As mentioned, difficult conversation, bit to go through. We don't really have the credentials, let's go with that word, to talk about this. But it's a big story in the world of video games right now. A lot of people talking about it, so we wanted to try. Hopefully we've done it enough service for you. If not, then don't worry, we'll talk about video games or something now. But what we won't do is what Jim Ryan did and said, do you know what, okay, something choice, cats, and speaking about cats, I've got cats. My cats are having their birthdays. Let's talk about cats for 6.5 days, which is just such a bad read. Yeah. And also, Jim Ryan's comment, where was it? There we go. We owe it to each other and to PlayStation's millions of users to respect differences of opinion among everyone in our internal and external communities. I'm not sure that's the right comment to be made at this point either, because we owe it to each other to respect differences of opinion. So you respect other people's opinions, but not mine, because you're not sharing my message that I'm asking you to share. It just feels like he's not read the room properly there. It's like, we've all got differences of opinion, so we shouldn't do it. Whoever's given him that PR statement has not read that from multiple angles. We owe it to each other to respect differences of opinion. Okay, so then my opinion is that I'm pro-choice. Talk about it. And it's like, no, because we want to respect something. And it's just not reading the room. It's not reading the room. And to then go on and talk about cats, definitely not reading the room. As it says there, being disrespectful and trivializing the issue. If you're putting the issue of reproductive rights alongside your cat's birthday, you ain't reading the room. It's as simple as that.
Essentially.
But anyway, that's enough of that. We will talk about video games. Let's try to not trivialize the issue. Let's talk about stuff.
The Triggermeister's asking if you'd play in PUBG tonight, Graham.
I'm not. Because you're not here, Lotus. I thought, you know what? Fuck it all.
This is where he does a mic drop and say, Graham, I finished early today.
Okay. No, we have. You've probably heard noises and stuff. You guys will actually hear more of the noises through the stream than I will, because my headset blocks out a lot of the audio, so it actually comes into the microphone.
What headset's that, Graham?
It's my Astro A40 headset that was given to us by our beautiful friends at Astro. Exclamation mark Astro in the chat if you want to find them. You can just go to Ice Cream, save yourself 5% on all purchases as well while helping support our channel. No, yeah, we're having work done in the house, and obviously when you have work done in the house, you get dust and shit all over your carpets, and our carpets are being cleaned tomorrow, and the work is still going on, so that's going to finish tonight, so we're going to have to, like, move everything out of the house, around the house, so that the carpets and stuff can be cleaned. So yeah, the work was supposed to have been finished like 2 weeks ago. So yeah,
if you're listening, builder, sort your fucking life out, mate.
One of them does listen, so he will know. He will know, but it's not him. Where did we get to? It's a highly damn it, that clip didn't work. I'll check it soon. It's a highly emotive issue with no universal right or wrong answer. Trying to legalize for it is a one answer fits all law that is never going to work. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, like I said, I have my opinion on it, but my opinion doesn't count because I'm not in that situation as such. It does count, but it doesn't count, and that's where and once again, grey areas and stuff. It's difficult. It's difficult. I've said before, and I'll say it again. Politically, I chose / elected you to run my country and not run my body. Amen. Fat Man Day for PM, says Tito. The biggest problem is American politics is massively swayed by religion. US friends of mine can't believe it doesn't factor in more to UK politics. Yeah, I've had that conversation a few times. The fact that it, like, when you're in court and stuff, does it still have like so help me God and stuff like that? Whereas we swear by the crown or something like that, so we go by off something physical person and not a deity in the sky kind of thing. I'm not religious, by the way, so apologies if I'm not going to go down that because I don't want to offend anyone with political religious stances, but having grown up with a disabled sister, it's always been a topic of discussion. Had my parents known at the time her life would have been compromised, they would have made that decision. They can't answer that even. They can't answer that even now, but they would have welcomed the right to choose. Iceman says the annoying thing with America's pseudo-theocratic tendencies is that those who claim to act in God's name often cherry-pick bits of the Bible to match their opinions. Iceman going in with the big old words there, but yeah, I agree. As do most when it comes to religion. Yeah. You still under Bungie tonight? No, cancel because of you, and it's all your fault. Of course, religion is all down to interpretation. In the case of Christianity, it's interpretation of an old book that people claim was God's word, when in reality it was the word of most likely old white men who possibly used it to push their own opinions. Ad says builders in. Yeah. Sexpan version 2. You mean in the Middle East? You mean the Middle East didn't have disciples called Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John? I'm shocked. I think I can hear the OpenReach engineer swearing in the next room. I wish I could. I want gigafast into jobbies, but I can't. No, you can pledge allegiance on anything now, I believe. Oh, can you? Okay, there you go. I'm still trying to find Austin 316 in the Bible. Yeah, keep looking, keep looking. So no PUBG tonight for real. Yeah, no PUBG tonight. No. I was hoping that we might do, but no, I'm going to spend my night like shuffling the stuff that you can't see behind the green screen behind me.
Wait, there's a green screen behind you?
I know. You wouldn't think it. You'd think I'm actually in my. Well, I actually am in this room that you can see. But if I turn off all the lights and stuff, you suddenly start to see that. Wait, is this a facade? Are you not really? Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It starts to fall apart. I'm actually not here. Ish. Although it's actually cost there's a lot of light coming through the sun. You can see the edges of the green screen now, but this side of the room looks kind of okay. Looks kind of okay. So yeah, no games tonight. Crits with Mates is off, sadly. I still don't know why you don't just green screen yourself next to Bibby. Yeah, I've thought of that. The thing is though,
that's pretty funny actually. I never even thought of that.
No, I've thought of it. It's just it gets fucking warm in this room, and there's like more issues with lighting regulation and stuff like that. And if people come in and I'm sat next to Bibby, not even looking at him once. Some people will be like, these guys are ignorant fuckers. They're both just sat next to each other, looking straight forward at the camera like 1970s newsreaders where you can't acknowledge there's someone sat next to you kind of thing. It's like, Bibby and Graham used to high five. Have they fallen out? What's happening here? I get the scaling off and it's like, fucking hell, Graham's like a marshmallow. like little thing next to Bibby. What the fuck? Or the other way around. It's like, fucking Graham's got a bit big, hasn't he? Just like, Gadosh. Hi, yes. Yeah. You'll have to fill the ICU-shaped hole, giggity. This is where acting skills come into play. I mean, we've done that before. I used to have Bibby sat on a shelf. It was an elf on the shelf behind me at one point in time. When we first went to having at-home scoops, I had a bookcase behind me there, kind of thing, and we got Bibby sat on it, so Bibby could sit on the shelf.
Yeah,
and that was peak scoop content. I think it's gone downhill ever since then, but you guys keep going back, so it's okay. Yeah. Anyway, next news story then. This one is a little bit more our ballpark, so we will be a bit more comfortable talking about this one. This is Tom Ivan at VGC talking about Arma 4 precursor, Arma Reforger, which has released in early access for PC and Xbox. Quote, it's a standalone multiplayer sandbox and a glimpse of things to come. So Bohemia Interactive has announced Arma 4 and released a standalone precursor called Arma Reforger in early access. Confirming a recent leak, the studio used the live stream on Tuesday, which we told you was coming on Monday, to reveal its plans for the future of the tactical military shooter series, which hadn't seen a new mainline entry since 2013's Arma 3. Arma Reforger is an appetizer. Oh, the dog's awake. Is an appetizer designed to establish the key elements planned for the upcoming sequel and to introduce the franchise to consoles for the first time. The military simulation takes place in a Cold War environment set in 1989, with players battling as either US or Soviet forces in the fictional on the fictional mid-Atlantic island of Everton. It's not, it's Everon, which spans 52 kilometers squared. Arma Reforger is available now in Steam Early Access and Xbox Game Preview for Xbox Series X and S, priced at $24.99. That's pounds. Arma Reforger, this is a quote, Arma Reforger makes a first foray into the Arma franchise with the all-new Enfusion engine. It's a standalone multiplayer sandbox and a glimpse of things to come, according to an official FAQ. But more than that, it is a platform to empower players, an invitation to influence the future of the series through the conflict and game master modes. You will have the chance to re-explore the island of Everon, faithfully recreated from the idyllic terrain that first appeared in Arma Cold War Assault. And then we have some screenies. And final paragraph. Although a separate enterprise, Arma Reforger is also a stepping stone towards Arma 4. The environment, historical context, and all of the assets, as well as our modern tools and features, will all be redeployed for the next Arma installment, alongside a slew of extra content. Arma 4, however, will release as an independent title and will build on all the lessons learned from Arma Reforger. So Arma 4 has a precursor in Arma Reforger. Interesting. What are your thoughts, Bib?
I'm a fan of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it. Yeah, this looks mega, doesn't it? I mean, these screenshots look so much better than what I saw Break playing this morning. They look a lot more, dare I say, use this word, Graham, polished.
So,
they look mega.
someone ban Bibby. Someone ban Bibby using the word polish.
But this is a game that I will be getting. I'll be getting this on payday. I can't wait to play it. It looks mega. I said I've got the Armor collection. I've got Armor 1, 2, and 3, and all the other DLCs that came along with it. I think it might have been part of a humble bundle or something that I bought previously. It just at the time when I bought them, it required a lot of power on your PC, obviously because of all the mods and stuff. And we've mentioned DayZ a number of times before. Obviously, that came off the code of this, as well as PUBG as well. So I've got a long history on playing games that has been spawned from this engine and the concept of what Arma is. I just can't wait to actually play the game that the engine was intended for, because I didn't get much chance to be able to do it with the original games. The fact that I'd be able to play this on my Xbox, fantastic. I think this is, yeah, I'm definitely going to be getting it for that because I believe the power of my Xbox is probably superior to what I've got in my PC at the moment, considering it's nearly a 5-year-old build. So, yeah, I think this is definitely one that I'm going to be keeping an eye out of. I was speaking to Lee about it before because he'd never even heard of it before. So I told him to have a look at it. No, he's never heard of Arma. I definitely would have put my house on him doing as well. So he was like, yeah, it looks actually really good. It said I was trying to explain to him like how heavy it is in terms of what the game's about and what you need to do and what there is available to do in there. And it's not just a run and gun. It's very much, if you die, you lose all your shit. Similar to what you like in Tarkov. So he said it might be a bit too heavy for him, but he's interested nonetheless.
Tila says Arma. Didn't that spawn DayZ and other shits and another shit survival game? What do you mean? Another shit survival game?
DayZ 2?
I think that must be what he's on about. H1 you do 1-1 King of the Kill. Sorry, BR. There we go. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, interesting. So I watch obviously a bunch of content creators dip in and out, and today TSM Break was playing. I've got dog chewing my fingers. Get off me. Okay, come here. Come, give us a cuddle. Come here. Oh, yeah. So I was watching TSM Break playing Arma Reforger today, and he was pretty hyped by it. I mean, his chat weren't 100% sold. They were like, okay, PUBG looks different. But like he was like, he even said, you mentioned BR. He was like, we need a BR in this engine, please. It was kind of Arma DayZ-ish, but with a bit more polish, less going on.
Yeah.
Vehicles just worked, so you didn't have to go around finding spark plugs and fucking all sorts of stuff to get in them and so on. It looks.
You'd expect that, but it's obviously a newer version of DayZ and PUBG, so you'd expect it to have a lot better animations and a lot more going for it, because I don't like to talk shit about DayZ because I do believe that there was a game in there somewhere. It's just not what I've played. I don't think it's a very good game. More so the fact that the maps are usually full of NPCs that can just warp through walls, and that used to fuck me off. Nothing, it's something rotten. You'd fall off a curb and sprain your ankle. I mean, the survival and it's just taking the piss. So yeah, that's what I'm more excited about. Playing a polished version of a game that I absolutely adored is fantastic. But I mean, Break's played a lot of DayZ as well, and so he knows his way around this engine. It's just a lot better looking, and it will work a lot better. A lot of the bugs have been eradicated. That is an incentive more than anything.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time playing DayZ, H1Z1, and he used to play Arma back in the day as well. I think that Arma was one of his first most streamed games before the likes of the DayZs, and then jumped over to PUBG. Will you stop playing with your sausage on screen? Bad form. No comment. You talking to me or Bib? JK says, exclamation mark Milo. We will get a Milo command set up eventually. He's licking my watch at the moment. He just keeps getting freaked out because he's still only tiny, and any form of bang is like a firework going off. So he's like, he's like, he's awake and hello. He's licking my face. Yeah, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this. There's definitely something in DayZ for me. It's all right. It's all right. There's definitely something for me in DayZ. Stop hitting my microphone, please. Thank you. It does my face. There's definitely something for me in DayZ in terms of I want to play DayZ. It's just not. It's not the game for me because it's too survival, too realistic. Less of the fact that there's pretty much no heads-up display and licking my face and that sort of stuff. Whereas this is kind of watching it earlier on. I find it somewhere between PUBG and DayZ. I feel like if I jump in this with a few friends, I might be enjoying this. So, are you getting this on PC or Xbox?
No, I'll be getting it on Xbox.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be crossplay, because if it's crossplay, I won't be able to jump. If it's not crossplay, I won't be able to jump in with you. But I might look into it for PC. It definitely.
Well, if your PC can only just run PUBG, I think you might have trouble running this.
Well, it can run PUBG. I thought it was PUBG killing my stream the other week. Or the month, should I say? Because I'd streamed it when we did Chicken for Charity, and I had no problem with it. So I imagine it was just my shitty internet and stuff. So that we can really hit. Yeah, it's because it's just on that wall just behind me at the moment. Are you licking my mic? Stop trying to bite it. No. He's trying to bite the little twizzly knob on the front of the... That might be why the stream went quiet the other week. Maybe he grabbed hold of it and turned it round. I was like, I can't hear anything. I can't hear bib. And realised everything was turned down. I don't know if that's you or me banging, says Tito. Are you banging, Tito? Let's. So yeah, Arma 4 Precursor, Arma Reforge has been released in early access for PC and Xbox. So if you have an Xbox and you want to check it out, that's probably a good bit of content for you there. I mean, if you're a content creator, you may be one of the PUBG guys and you think, do you know, I want to try something different. There will be a lot of eyes looking at Arma, and there will be a lot of eyes on Twitch that will be ready for it's in fact cross-platform. Nice.
There you go then.
So,
I wonder if I can play with my keyboard and mouse on console then.
Interesting. That'd be interesting. But yeah, so there are a lot of Arma viewers on Twitch. A lot of old school lapsed, moved on to the PUBGs and stuff, viewers that will be looking for content. So if you are a PUBG content creator, there you go. There's an avenue to check some out. Do you know, if you don't want to check that out, though, you could check out a Pokemon game that you've made for yourself, as Joshua Henry has the next article that says someone is making a tool so you can create your own Pokemon games. Take your Pokemon-inspired dreams into your own hands. Do you have an idea for a retro-style RPG game but don't know how to make it? Well, a developer is creating an RPG game-making tool that will allow users to easily create the Monster Tamer RPG of their dreams. The tool... Whoops, nice. The tool, which is currently being funded on Kickstarter, is expected to hit the market at the end of the year. Per PC Games, this Monster Tamer Maker will be used exclusively to build Pokemon-style monster capture games. It comes from developer Yana, who announced the upcoming game engine on Twitter. Apologies for the bangage. Sorry. They also shared news that the release would include a game they're developing using it called Dokimon. Nice, yes. A proof of concept. As Yana succinctly puts it, this is the new era we all deserve. Limitless Monster Tamer games made for gamers by gamers. That sounds like an energy drink. Made for gamers by gamers. For gamers. By gamers who understand gamers. The word gamers.
Forever gamers.
Play game. Yeah. So the Kickstarter for Monster Tamer Maker describes the engine as a tool designed to allow people to create games quickly and easily without a lot of the limitations other tools come with. It will feature pre-made assets, and users will be able to import custom assets and export them to other games. The goal for the project is set for $10,000, which will allow both the engine and accompanying game to be made. Further funding will offer more assets, extra platforms, multiplayer options, and more. Currently, the project sits at almost $5,500 raised, with 26 days to go. We'll stop there. What are your thoughts, Bib? Would you be interested in making your own Pokemon game?
Not interested in making one myself, no. But I believe that if you can make one and you can publish it on the internet, there is a lot of better. There's a lot more people out there with a better imagination and an understanding of Pokemon scenarios than myself, especially when it comes to anything after 151. So I think for someone like Sho or Ravi that may be able to come together and create a fantastic Pokemon story, and then I get the opportunity to be able to play that. I think that's a massive dub. What does worry me though is that Nintendo does not like to play ball with stuff like this. So I don't know how long this kind of thing will be knocking about before it gets cease and desist.
Oh, I muted then because I was banging. I was like, agreeing, and then started talking and was muted. So I agree. The thing is, if they don't go too stupidly close, there's a lot of Mega Drive and Master System and Super Nintendo games that looked like each other because there was only so much you could do with pixels. So as long as they don't look pixel for pixel, Nintendo, if Temtem can get away with it, these guys can, and then that could be pretty cool. Imagine playing a Pokemon story made by Sho and Rabbit, and all of their banter is in it as well. They're the ones that are writing the bits that are popping up. Imagine, what was it? Lavington. Come get dinner. Shows that sort of humor in his own Pokemon script. Like, yeah, that could be decent. Tell them to stop banging, noisy bastards. I have done. I've actually told them to start banging because we need to finish. Hey, look at me, nice. So yeah, if you're interested in it, you can create your own Pokemon games or play your own friends made Pokemon games. The only question that I have, which we can answer off this, is we spoke yesterday about Fortnite. Was it yesterday Fortnite was saying they want to allow people to make games, or was that the day before?
Yeah, it was. No, it was Monday.
So Fortnite wants to give people the tools to make games and earn money from it. They don't want to just take all the money away like Roblox do. Be interested to see if this is just like a Dreams where you make stuff in game. I mean, that's not actually accurate because you can make money from Dreams too. But I wonder if they're going for a way making the ability to make content for the game, or whether it'll be a case of we're going to have revenue streams from this. I'd love to see the latter. But when the Kickstarter's total budget or goal is $10,000, I don't imagine that they're going to be looking at that from this, which is probably accurate, but also it's a little bit of a shame because I bet some people are going to be super dedicated. I mean, how many Pokemon likes have we seen made and killed over the years? If someone has the tools of look, there you go, you can make one. Some people out there will be like, okay, give me 2 hours and I'll get you the best Pokemon game you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, Pokemon off red. No, they've got Dokemon. It'd be like Mokemon or something like that. Gokemon, let's go. You licking me there, having fun? Yes. Okay, we'll move forward to our final article of the day, and this one's all about freebies. Ish.
Caveats.
Tom Ivan at VGC says new Xbox. Suck your mum. Oh wait, no, that's the Chaz version. Suck your mum. So new Xbox Game Pass titles for console, PC, and cloud include Skate and Sniper Elite 5. May's upcoming Game Pass additions have been revealed. So Microsoft has confirmed the next wave of titles coming to Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and Xbox Cloud gaming. Let me scroll down a second. So 5 titles. Okay. My God, my mouse wheel's like, yeah, you're either going off the screen or staying halfway up it. Oh, it's gone. So yeah. So 5 titles join the subscription service today. Her Story, Jurassic World Evolution 2, Witch in the Woods, Skate, and Umurangi Generation Special Edition. They will be followed by Farming Simulator 22 and Vampire Survivors on May the 19th, Floppy Nights and Hard Space Shipbreaker on May the 24th, and Sniper Elite 5 on May the 25th. Finally, Cricket 22 and Pac-Man Museum Plus will be added to Xbox Game Pass on May 27th. Titles added to Game Pass earlier on in May include... do you know, I'm not going to go through those.
Yeah, we've already covered them in the past.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to see that, we can share the link to the article. But, yeah, if you're interested in playing some games, you've got Xbox Game Pass, then these are effectively free games. If you're already paying for it, this is just more for your money. Nice. And the fact that Sniper Elite 5, isn't that like brand new on May the 27th? Is it coming out day and date on Game Pass?
I think that might be a day one release, yeah.
Nice. Game Pass, ! Gamep ass in the chat still delivers. Beautiful. You chewing, you little numpty. Stop chewing me, or I'll chew you. Bib.
Yes.
No, that was me saying I'm going to chew you.
Oh, okay. I hope not.
So yeah, there's not really much to say that other than, Spike's pretty much said it. Skate isn't that early-ish in production still. I mean, what
This is the
skate
original
is
one.
this? I was gonna say
It's the original, yeah.
yeah, because we've not even seen anything on that skate yet. We knew that they'd made it like last year before it was announced, but then they didn't really confirm what it looked like, what. Yeah. So it's not. It's early days skate. No, that's my bracelet. Don't you that.
I've never played a farming simulator, Graham, and I feel like this is my time.
I feel like that TV's going to turn off behind you. That's what I feel like.
Oh God, it's I told you it's been on a while. Right, okay.
Bib's in eco mode over there. I saw the dev progress thing. It looks very, very early days. Yeah, that was the thing. Like when they announced Skate, was it like E3 2 years ago, a year ago, whenever it was? And they just went, we can just confirm that we are working on it. No logo, no nothing. And it was like, if it was like Jedi Fallen Order, where the whole game came out 18 months later, fair enough. But we're like 2 years later on and we've still not seen anything. It felt like maybe they should have had something else in that show. And they just went, oh, fuck it, yeah, we'll just mention Skate now. So we're here at this point where we're almost 3 years later or whatever it is, and there's still nothing there. It might be 2 years. We've still not seen an official logo, maybe. Maybe we have seen the logo. It does feel quite bizarre that they've announced it so early. Like I say, probably had something that got cancelled or delayed, and then they've pushed it. They've just gone, fuck it, we can mention that we're working on Skate. We've got no other brands. It's not licensed. Let's just say it. Let's go. I don't know. But yes, Sniper Elite 5. You playing that, babe?
Probably not.
No, fine.
No. I mean, I'm not a fan of snipering games, if I'm being honest.
Oh, I'm a big fan of sniping in games. Like I love a bullet or PUBG, for example, same sort of vibe. And Sniper Elite 4, shooting testicles off people. Yes, please. I'm not going to rush to play Sniper Elite 5 though, because I will wait to hear what people say. Wait to hear what people say. We've worked on Sniper Elite 4, and it was good. I will wait for more news on Sniper Elite 5 before I look to jump into that one now. And I think that's it. That's the news. That's the scoop. So the stories, in case you missed them, you're licking me. Am I dutted? Do I need a wash? Is that what it is?
Dutter.
Okay, the news stories are Bungie says that there will never be a muzzle big enough to stop them for standing up for what's right. That is following reports that Sony won't authorise studio statements on reproductive rights. That was the first news article. Then we spoke about Arma 4 Precursor Arma Reforger is out now for PC and Xbox in early access. You can get on, you can get playing, you can jump in. It's crossplay as well, so you can jump in with me a bit when we get it too. Yeah. Someone is making a tool, so you can make your own Pokemon games. If you want a monster catcher style game and you want to make your own, because the ones out there just are a bit, well, don't worry, you can, as there is a tool that will allow you to make that. And there are new games coming to Xbox Game Pass all through the month, and we're giving you heads up on what they are. Let's go. Thank you for joining us for the scoop today. We appreciate it. Apologies for all the banging and stuff in the background. If the build stuff gets finished today, then that'll be all good. There is no stream tonight, so hopefully that's all finished. I get all my clothes and stuff out of the way. We're back in the studio tomorrow, so the next time you see me in this room on Friday, there'll be no green screen. It'll all be nice and spacious, and everything will be back to normal. But we'll see how that all crumbles, unfolds, and stuff. Yeah. But before we disappear and not come back at 6:30 tonight, Mr. Bibb, is there anything that you'd like to add?
Yes, again, thank you very much to each and every one of you that joined us for Wednesday's episode of The Scoop. Therefore, we now have 2 more episodes for the remainder of this week. So if you want to help shape any of those shows, there is 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. If you're watching this on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All the links that you require will be listed there. But all we need from you is URL plus your thoughts and opinions. We will then give you our thoughts and opinions on the very next show, which will be live from here in the studio tomorrow at what time, Mr. Graham Day? 10 a.m. Ish. I can tell you now, it's definitely not going to be 10 a.m. tomorrow.
It's not. Settle down, dog. It's not. It'll be sometime tomorrow-ish. We'll see. Regarding Skate, Spike says it was basically EA saying, fine, we'll fucking make Skate if you just shut up about it. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. If you heard the Metal Gear Solid, blah, that was because Iceman just tried to scare me, but it didn't work.
I shit my pants.
I didn't shit my pants. JMK says, cheers for the stream, guys. Thank you for dropping in, JMK, Iceman, Tito, Spike, everyone else that's been in throughout the course of the stream. I appreciate you. Baby doesn't. I do. You know, it is what it is. But for now, we are going to disappear. Stick around. We'll drop a raid on one of our friends. You can pass on some support to their channel whilst getting yourself some extra channel points in the process. So do stick around for that raid. But from us, myself, Bib, and Milo, have yourself a beautiful day. And stay frosty.
Stay frosty.